What's going on, y'all? It's Derek J407 here to give you my thoughts on quite possibly a really good night of wrestling. Of course, the main thing I'm here to talk about is Lucha Underground, Ultima Lucha Dos, Night 2. But I mean, this was a really good night for wrestling. We had a NXT. This week's episode featured a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor. So, of course, that was great. And tonight marked the first episode of the Cruiserweight Classic on the network. And I managed to watch all of it. And plus, the ESPYs were on with John Cena as the host. So, everything is wrestling represented on this night was pretty good. But let's focus on Ultima Lucha Dos for right now. This, like I said already, this was night 2, and it was a this is the Lucha Underground that I can get into, man. This is Lucha Underground at its best with the cliffhangers and all that kind of stuff. At the end of this show, very good cliffhanger, but I will get to that. The show kicked off with the 7-way Gift of the Gods Championship match. It was, let me remember here, it was Killshot, Marty the Moth, Mari Possa, Sexy Star, Dagger, Sinestro de la Muerte, and the debuting Nightclaw. They were hyping up this mystery guy. Of course, we all at home, us viewers know, but in the temple, it was a mystery. But yeah, it was Nightclaw. It was this guy. He has like a panther or black leopard mask and with the mouth and whiskers and all that kind of stuff. It looks pretty cool. So he made his debut in this match, and the match was really good. This is the third time we've seen this match, and it was really fun. This time it was elimination though, so that made it even more fun. I mean, a 7-way tornado match, it's cool, but I mean, elimination matches I prefer. When it's multiple people, I prefer elimination style. So hopefully this is what they go with going forward. Cobra Moon was out there stalking Dagger, so that was something they started weeks and weeks ago. She was just out there though. She was like up in one of the rafters, but not completely high up, but enough of a distance away. She didn't interfere or anything like that, but she was out there. She's like a stalker ex-girlfriend for Dagger, but we don't know anything about it. I've known many girls like that have stalked some people. I've been stalked before, so I think we can all relate to Dagger. But if he ain't ever been with her before and she just want him, and I mean, dude, go for it, bro. I don't know why you fighting her off, but I digress. Everyone got eliminated, so let's just skip to the end. I mean, this is a bunch of high-flying moves and all that kind of stuff. Nightclaw looked really good, but he got eliminated by Killshot. But it came down to Sexy Star being had to go up against the siblings, that being Marty the Moth and Mari Possa. So she got double teamed for a while, but she fought her way back. At one point, though, Mari Possa had her held, and Marty was about to knock her out with just a straight right hand, but Sexy Star ducked. Marty ended up knocking out his own sister. I'm sure we've all felt like that at one point or another, knocking out our sister, but you never do it. But he looked devastated. She looked knocked out, man. Well, of course she looked knocked. No, she looked dead though. She sold that really well. When a dude the size of Marty the Moth punches a woman in the face, that's what's gonna look like. It'll look like that Ray Rice video, which was disturbing. So it came down to Marty the Moth and Sexy Star. They fought for a while, and Sexy Star was able to make Marty tap out to an armbar, and Sexy Star becomes the Gift of the Gods champion. So now she has a chance to become the Lucha Underground champion. So, yeah, that's interesting. first time a female would win any kind of world championship, to my knowledge. I don't know. I don't know what to base that off of. But, I mean, with this being a TV show, I don't know if it counts or not, but it'll be interesting to see if she wins the title when she eventually cashes that in. They showed Mr. Cisco getting wired up by the police officers, Joey Ryan and Cortez Castro, who was Officer Reyes. Cisco, of course, was afraid that Dario might kill him, and Officer Reyes was telling him, don't worry about it. You do this, and your name will be cleared of all charges against you and all that kind of stuff. So you knew he was dead. You knew he was about to die. Speaking of death, that is the perfect segue. Can't get any more perfect than that. Up next, we had the death match between King Cuerno and Mil Muertes. This was one of the matches I was looking forward to the most for Ultima Lucha. This was a brutal match. They fought all around the temple. They even made it up to the rafters and the balconies and all that kind of stuff. It was a brutal match, but things got real sick when King Cuerno put his hands around the neck, around the throat of Katrina. That's a no-no. Mil snapped, and he started to beat the hell out of King Cuerno. He started powerbombing him through tables and all that kind of stuff. Then he got a crowbar, and he bashed King Cuerno in the head with it, I think twice. It was a few times he hit him in the head with it and knocked him out. So at this point, King Cuerno is just unconscious, and Mil goes Undertaker on us. And he hits him with a brutal tombstone pile driver, and even puts his hands over him and covers him like that. Gets the victory, and King Cuerno gets stretchered out, so we're left to believe that he's dead. I don't know what else to really think. I mean, it's a death match. They were hyping it up like one of these guys is going to get killed, and you knew it wasn't going to be Mil. So I guess King Cuerno's dead. So rest in peace, or whatever. Speaking of resting in peace, another great segue, we see in Dario Cueto's office, Mr. Cisco. He walks in there, very trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. Of course, failing though. We see elsewhere Joey Ryan and Cortez Castro. They're listening to everything. But Mr. Cisco's telling Dario, hey boss, whatever you need of me, you need a soldier, I'm your guy. And of course, Dario gets suspicious, and within seconds he picks up on this. Dario's a smart dude, so I'm not surprised it didn't take that long. He catches on that he's wearing a wire, rips his shirt, sees it, and he yells at the cops, and he smashes it down. He asks Cisco, do they have me for murder? And Cisco's like, no, I don't think so. And then Dario grabs that Red Bull statue on his desk, and he tells him, well, they do now. And he proceeds to bash Mr. Cisco with it. We don't see it on screen, but we can see Dario repeatedly smashing it onto Mr. Cisco. And then they cut away, and they cut back, and he puts the statue down, and it's covered in blood. His hands and fingers are covered in blood, and then he picks up the phone, calls someone, and all he says is, it's time. Doesn't say who it is, or nothing like that. He just says, it's time, and then they go off the air, and that was it. So, nice little cliffhanger there for next week. Oh, I forgot. I skipped over something completely. So after the death match, Matt Striker, he's hyping up next week's Lucha Underground Championship match between Pentagon Jr. and Matanza Cueto. Next week, it's the finale, part 3 of Ultima Lucha Dos. And it's the 2-hour finale, much like last year. So we're going to get a lot of the the matches that haven't taken place yet, they're all going to take place next week, including the Lucha Underground Championship match. And Matt Striker was talking about how last year Pentagon fought Vampiro and all that kind of stuff. And Striker basically asked Vampiro, what's your feelings about this? And then Vampiro, he picks up a trash can, takes out his meds, and dumps them in the trash and throws them away. Matt Striker's like, are you sure it's a good idea? And Vampiro very quietly and, kind of, very creepy, but he just calmly says, Vampiro doesn't need meds. He says, you called me Pentagon's master. It was time that I get my student ready. And he walks off. Matt Striker walks off after he signs off. And he walks off too, looking for him. And then we get into Dario killing Mr. Cisco. So, all good stuff. So, I'm assuming Vampiro will be in Pentagons Corner next week. So that should be really good. I'll be sad to see it go next week, but hey, at least we're not going to be left, in a lurch, wondering if there's going to be another season. We know there's another season. It's already been filmed, so we know it's out there. So just going to have to play the waiting game. But in the meantime, at least for me, I'll have something in its place, that being the Cruiserweight Classic that we got on the WWE Network immediately following NXT. And by the way, NXT this week had Nakamura and Finn Balor, to the shock of no one, a great match, a fantastic match. And of course Nakamura won, and you gotta assume he's gonna challenge Samoa Joe in the main event of TakeOver Brooklyn. I'll be at TakeOver Brooklyn this year, so that's gonna be interesting, to say the least. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And so following NXT, we have the first episode of this Cruiserweight Classic. I love how serious they took it. It took it like an actual sport, like almost UFC-like. And WWE says UFC isn't competition, and their word means nothing. They say TNA isn't competition. They go out of their way to not mention TNA, yet they take storyline ideas from TNA. So, yeah, TNA is not competition at all, and neither is UFC. Yet they took it again here. It wasn't like beat for beat what UFC does, but it was very similar style. It was very ROH-like too. They had the competitors shake hands before a match and shake hands after a match. So they had their own code of honor here. Had time limits. That was cool. So on this show, I forgot everyone who qualified, but I know Ho Ho Loon is one of them who wanted to gets to move on. Cedric Alexander, he competed on this show, and of course Kota Ibushi, who I say is going straight to the finals. I know everybody has been putting together their brackets and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, I might do my own, but I know I have Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. in the finals, and Zack Sabre Jr. wins the whole thing. So that's my prediction as far as that goes. But I'm going to enjoy it for the next few weeks. So yeah, I know it's not going to last too long, but once Lucha Underground's over next week, I can mourn, I can be sad about it for a little bit, but then I can remember I now have something to take its place. I can consistently watch NXT now, and you got this. So everything's good. So like I said, a good night for wrestling. I enjoyed all of the shows, and next week, Ultima Lucha Dos, the season finale of Lucha Underground, season 2 finale. So we'll get there, and we'll mourn together. So until then, check y'all later.